about
Oh,
last night.
yeah. And so what is really weird is last night. I'm going to tell y'all what I did last night too. But last night I couldn't go to sleep after I did what I did. That I'm going to tell you. What? I don't know. Just stay tuned. So I'm not going to look at comments for a minute, and I'm going to see if I can share something with you that isn't actually in the titles, but it has to do with the meatloaf sandwich last night. If you're new to my channel, you may not know that I have a traumatic brain injury, and I went on Aricept, which is normally for dementia and Alzheimer's. I don't even know now. Tracking numbers and stuff is something I'm not able to do anymore. But I think 2 years ago, maybe 3, but I think 2. And it gave me back my life. But you guys, this year I'm doing so well, knock on wood. I want that to continue. But I wanted to share a couple of successes with you that have just happened in the last 24 hours. And that's why they weren't on the title, because I created that thumbnail and title yesterday. But last night, I after visiting with my trustee yesterday, and then Jen and I were talking last night, and she reminded me that when I'm doing these vendor sales of my books, that I still need to report that income. And you guys know me, I'm all about integrity and being transparent and doing the right thing. And I realized that I hadn't been doing a great job of that. And so I don't know, but after we talked and had dinner and she went home, I got inspired. And if you don't know this about my brain injury, I used to teach. My degree is in biology, and I have a double minor in chemistry and physics. And I was accepted to 2 medical schools, and didn't get to go. And I tried all kinds of different jobs, and I even taught middle school science. But I can't do math anymore. And I mean, basic numbers, like when we're playing games and stuff, I like to keep score because I like practicing and everything, but I can't do math like I used to. Certainly not physics or calculus or anything like I used to. And I can read paragraphs, and I can read y'all's comments and everything, obviously, but I don't have any retention. I can't read beyond 2 or 3 paragraphs. And in my career, I worked for the state of Texas, and I was a legislative liaison, and I managed, I oversaw lots of money and big budget, and had staff and everything. But I haven't been able to do math, and I haven't been able to do spreadsheets, and I haven't been able to track things. And the government won't even give me my own Social Security check. It has to go to a trustee, and my doctors won't, my neurologist and everything won't deal with me. That I have to have a power of attorney. And so there's a lot that I can't do, but I'm getting better at doing more and trying. I mean, there's still so much I can't do. But last night I got inspired, and I said, I'm going to try to do a spreadsheet to track books I've ordered, books I've received, books I've sold, and books I've given away, because I would imagine that's what the IRS is going to be interested in. And I want to report it honestly. It took me 4 hours, but I sat down last night. I finished around midnight. I sat down last night, well, I guess about 4.5. I sat down last night and I created a spreadsheet that tracked that. And when I was done, I counted my inventory, and it matched exactly. And I automated some of the fields and everything like I used to do. And I know that y'all are probably going to think I'm nuts for being so excited over a silly spreadsheet, but I hadn't been able to do that in years. And I was just so over the moon and excited and happy, and I still am. And And so I wanted to share that with you guys. And then today, I mean, yes, I did 7.5 hours. And y'all have to know that the errands I did there was a lot to do because we may go to Yuma tomorrow and I'm doing QIA in the morning. So there was a lot to do, but it wouldn't take a normal person 7.5 hours. And I'll tell you about some of the things. But I went to the laundromat. And if y'all have read my book, How Being a Nomad Saved My Life, I have a laundromat story in there from my childhood and from my abusive mother. And the laundromat has always been horrifying for me growing up and everything. But when I first got on the road, to do laundry, you wouldn't, I mean, it can be overwhelming for anyone. But if you have a brain injury, to track getting the clothes ready to go in the machine, getting them in there, getting them in the machine, putting the quarters in, the soap, and then tracking how many machines you have and making sure you don't leave something behind, and then getting them in the dryer, in the dryer sheets if you use them, and then the quarters for that, and making sure that they get dry, and then if they stop and they're not dry. There are so many moving parts if you have a brain injury that it used to fry me. And I was thinking today about, I don't remember what year it was, maybe 2000. I'd been on the road a couple of years, so it must have been 2017. I was at a laundromat in Silver City, and I was only doing a few loads of laundry. Today I did 7 double loads. But I was just doing a few loads of laundry, and it was in Silver City, New Mexico. And sorry, Bandit's about to pull my tripod over. And I got stuck. I couldn't figure anything out. And everything was going, I couldn't figure out what needed to go to the dryer, what I already had in the dryer, what needed to come out, and I was literally standing there and starting to cry. And the sweet attendant that was working there, she comes over and she goes, "Honey, can I help you? Do you need help?" And I know I sound and look pathetic, but I'm like, "Yes," and I start crying. And she was just so sweet. And this last time I went back through Silver City, she wasn't working there anymore, but she helped me out, and I got in my van, and I went back out to the wild, and I recuperated for 2 or 3 days. Today, I did 7.5 hours worth of errands, and I did 7 double loads of laundry, and it didn't go smoothly. I'm not going to say it went smoothly. I lost some sheets and had to go looking for them, but in my defense, what happened, because I was telling my cousin earlier today when I called her for her birthday, I have to count my machines, my washing machines, so I make sure that I get everything out and put in the dryers, and then I have to write down the number. If I'm by myself, often I go with friends like Jenna or somebody, but if I'm by myself, I have to write down my numbers of my dryers, even if it's just 2 or 3, because I will forget. And there's nothing more embarrassing to me than to open somebody else's dryer and them come running up, "What are you doing?" And so that's happened to me too many times, and bless their hearts, nobody wants that happening to them. So I've learned coping mechanisms to deal with all of this. But I was doing it today. But in my defense on losing the sheets, I didn't look at my list because I was batting 1,000 for me today, and I didn't look at what I'd written down for the dryer numbers, and Jen and I were having a conversation. I'm like, "Oh my God, my sheets," because it's what I cover my table with for selling my books. So I went running back in there, and what it turns out is somebody had pulled them out about halfway through the dryer cycle and evidently used the rest of my dryer time, and they were laying over on a table with the dryer sheet still on them, and the dryer sheet, it's my black sheets and stuff that I use for my vendor table, like I said. And so the dryer sheet had even had some black on it and faded. So I know it had dried for a while and they were damp. So somebody pulled them out and used the rest of my time, and that's okay. I got my sheets back, but it wasn't without incident. But I not only did a spreadsheet last night, I did 7.5 hours of errands today. It wasn't pretty. I left my phone in another place and had to go back, and it took me a long time, but I did it. And I'm sharing that just to say that if you're dealing with something, I always say it all the time, keep on keeping on no matter what, one day at a time. And I'm living proof that you never know how things are going to turn around, and what you'll be able to do today that you couldn't do yesterday. And I'm excited about the tomorrows. And there was a time when I didn't even know whether I was putting my shoes on or taking them off when I looked down. And so I just wanted to celebrate that with y'all and tell you that I'm really grateful for this life. Look at my backyard. And I really believe it has saved my life. And if you haven't read that book, you know, I don't mean for this to be a promotion for my book, but if you haven't read that book, I hope you do, and because I mean it with all my heart. So there, I just wanted to share that and tell you to keep on keeping on no matter what, one day at a time. KOKO, NMW, ODAT, and no matter what is the title of my sequel to KOKO that's coming out. All right, let me go catch up on comments. If you're new to my channel, let me try that again. If you're new, we're gonna go.